Action step 9 is to prioritize which content to fix first. Yes, we're not going to be able to work on everything all at once. So, what we need to do is go to our inventory list and then come up with a sequential order in which we're going to make these assets WCAG 2.1 AA conformant. And that's really what this action step gets at. But in the example of how they choose to prioritize in the examples of how they choose to prioritize content, I think they actually get too specific in some of these sub bullet points. But let's go through these because there are some good takeaways. So, in this first sub bullet point, enables people to perform key tasks like registering for programs, searching for things, submitting forms, requests, or reservations, paying bills, or making purchases. So, again, we're not going to get this specific. It's more like, here's our website. We're going to work on these, let's say 10 pages first. And that is because these 10 pages are the pages that are most viewed, they're the most accessed, and they contain the essential elements that people need to access our services. So that's one way to think of this, but we're not going to be going by specific elements and deciding, well, we want to focus in on the search bar first because the search bar is so important. It's just going to be a part of the overall effort. And this next bullet point reads, is frequently accessed or is important for accessing essential government programs. Yes, exactly. This is what I was talking about. So let's say there is a PDF that has a form field and that you fill out this PDF to register for a program or a service. And so this would be an example where we'd want to prioritize this PDF along with some others. So we probably wouldn't work on that single PDF alone, but it would be included in the first batch of documents that we would have remediated. The next bullet point has been flagged as inaccessible by individuals with disabilities. So this would be another good starting point is if we've had complaints about a certain, let's say, PDF or a form field or a mobile app, if there's been something that's been pinpointed already, that's a good place to start as well. And then we have is newly in development so that you can avoid creating new barriers. So yes, it's important that if we are creating a new digital asset, so we are creating a new mobile app, for example, it's important that we make this accessible to begin with and not have this disjointed process where we create the app and then we have to go back and work on accessibility. So that's another consideration here. And then appears across multiple web pages like navigation menus, search features, and standardized footers. So yes, while these elements are important, this wouldn't be something where we specifically focus in on a navigation menu, unless it was like the one thing that was left to make accessible. No, we're going to look at this in terms of what's the digital asset? Is it a website? Is it our second website? All right, it's our first website. We're going to focus in on the home page along with these 9 other pages, and we're going to have those audited, and then we're going to remediate those. So it's not a matter of looking at such specific things. The ordering here isn't as important, and this would create additional work if you were to go to these extremes. But think of it more as digital asset. What are the pages? Or if we're looking at our mobile app, what are the screens that we're going to focus in on? If it's not the whole mobile app entirely, it really comes down to how many pages or screens you have. So you're also going to want to take that into consideration. Let's say you have a website with 100 pages on it. We're not going to work on all 100 pages at first. We're going to focus in on a select group of pages. So keep that in mind. Next bullet point is based on a template so that you can make sure you're using an accessible template. So yeah, that would be important, especially if we are creating new documents. Let's say we have a document template. We'd want to make sure that that document template is accessible, especially if we are actively relying upon that template and creating new documents from it. So we've gone through several of the considerations here. Here, the point is we want to make sure that we are prioritizing certain digital assets over others because those are going to give us the most return on investment. And we want to make those accessible first because they are they are the assets that are being the most used, or they are the content that is being viewed the most often, etc. So that's where we want to prioritize our efforts. So that covers action step 9. We will move on to action step 10.